Not you, Dylan Harper. Sorry.
That's how it is. Here we go. Hi. Once upon a groove on an old soul tune. I watch the pin move to shake the breakthroughs. Who makes moves, maneuver in the right direction. The rest of you get left behind and messed up in this session. I'm not trying to make a difference.
And welcome to the show.
Welcome to the show, everybody. Episode 135 now?
45.
That can't be right. I'm going to start over. I'm going to look this up. That can't be right.
It's true.
It's true?
Just take off 17, or add 17 from Dr. Chauntelle's last
That's true.
excursion.
That must be 145. I'm Travis.
Hi, I'm Dylan.
We're a podcast called Drunkcast Live. Like to have some drinks and talk to interesting people about topics over the week.
Yep.
And it's more fun when we have people who are very interesting, who actually have a certain industry, career, really something that we can actually strive to research.
Yeah.
Like one of our favorite people in the entire world, Dr. Chauntelle Tibbals.
Yay!
Coming back to the show for the fourth time.
I think so. Yeah.
What's
Fourth time.
What's 4 times 107 or times 17?
Divided by 17.
No, 4 times 17. Yeah.
145.
I know that the first time was like July of last year.
Yeah. The day that will live on.
Forever.
Yes.
It's so great to have you back on the show.
Yeah.
Hey, it's
so
been
happy
so
to be
it's
here.
been forever.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm very lucky to have you to keep the 17 thing going because you're so busy.
Yeah, a little busy. That's okay.
Book came out. Book doing well.
Book's doing well.
Very
Seems to be
happy
doing
with the
well.
book so far?
Yes.
The book Exposure,
Exposure.
available on
Sociologist
Amazon.
explores sex, society, and adult entertainment.
Yeah. You have to tell us your whole life story.
Available now on Amazon.com.
Yes. Fuchsia cover. Banana.
But it's been, yes, of course.
It's hashtag Team Pink Banana.
Yes, that's true.
What's a Team Pink Banana? I mean, I get it from context, but...
I don't know. It's
There's
just,
a banana on the cover, and it's pink.
And the
But the
banana
banana
is
is
not
not pink. The
Right.
cover
But the cover's
is pink.
pink.
Yeah, I know
See,
that.
it's a very complex subject. It's the reason why I'm trying to get some clarification.
I don't know.
Yeah, but you're saying you're very busy. You're traveling a lot. You're heading everywhere.
Yeah, doing a lot of university speaking, which is the ultimate like irony in all things.
Sure.
It's like, we hate you. We hate your work. Come talk here. So I'm like, all right, that's fine.
Well, they can't get comedians to come out anymore. So.
Yeah.
So it's 100%. Okay, so you're actually going to community colleges. I didn't want to be diminutive there. You're going to colleges and you're speaking to these big, large groups of people. It's not a book tour anymore as much as it's talking about what you've studied.
So well, I'm doing both, and what I what I try to do, because I try to be efficient in all things, is for each city to do a university, an adults like industry space, and then sort of like a mainstream bookstore.
Sure.
So for example, I'm going to be in Oklahoma City that I've never been to before, and I'm very excited.
This should
about
be
this.
interesting.
They have a Hastings, I think, that actually qualifies for all 3 of those things.
Oh, there you go.
It's the only way. Oklahoma only gives out college degrees through Hastings. Only safe sex area too as well. So.
Well, I totally screwed up because I am now going to 3 different places rather than all at once, so I have to stay there longer. So I'm going to speak at OU, and then I am going to a Hustler store, because there's a Hustler store.
There's a Hustler store in Oklahoma City?
There's a Hustler store in Oklahoma City.
Huh.
And I'm going to go speak there. And then
Good.
there is this store called Full Circle Books, which is kind of like Book People here in Austin.
Oh, sure, yeah.
So it's that type of thing, and I'm going to go to those 3 places. So
Very
it's
cool.
exciting. Yeah. So I'm doing those different cities about. I'm excited for the New Orleans trifecta to come together.
Yeah,
It's
sure.
like the whole Hustler store, Tulane, plus something else is going to be fun.
What exactly is a Hustler store? I mean, I can assume that they sell alternative
A
sexual
Hustler store
things.
is like a Hustler Hollywood. So the introduction for my book was written by Teresa Flint, who is one of Larry Flint's children. And she is also the person who started Hustler Hollywoods in the late 90s, which really kind of changed the face of adult novelty. Before there were Hustler stores, the vast majority of like porn sex shops were places that had booths, which were like dudes would go in and jerk off in the booth. Very sticky. Those kinds of
among other words, yes.
smelling of bleach, both from what was in there and then also used to clean.
Of course.
Yes, it's very graphic. And there were really places where there was just dimly lit and no fun and not organized, and the products looked like crap and whatever.
Yeah.
So Teresa started the Hustler Hollywoods, and the very first one was right on Sunset Boulevard. And it's like a bright, open windows, right on a front-facing Big Deal Street. There's a little coffee shop in there.
Yeah.
And that whole... And it really changed the way...
'Cause it's not shy anymore, right?
It's not shy anymore, and it's not any big deal. I mean, it's a big deal because it's a big store,
Of course,
right
yeah,
out
sure,
there.
sure.
But it's also like, who cares? Like, go, I don't know. So...
A retail specialty shop.
Basically,
Right.
like any other...
Not a skeezy porn booth.
/ smoothie bar.
Is there a smoothie bar?
There's a smoothie bar. In some of them. The
okay.
one, from what I understand, the one in Oklahoma City does not have a smoothie bar. And the one in Las Vegas is actually connected, because I did a book signing there. The one in Las Vegas is next to Larry Flint's Hustler Club, which is their big strip club emporium. So that was a fun, I'm like, hey guys, come to the book reading signing. And they're like, no, we want to go watch the game and see some boobs. I'm like,
Yeah.
all right. Well, I'll be here for an hour if you want to come back. In case you get bored.
I'll sign books in VIP.
You know.
Find me in the 5th book, bring tokens.
Yeah.
No.
A whole bunch of messages there. A whole bunch of messages. So that's what a Hustler store is. A Hustler is like a Hustler Hollywood, and there are 20 some odd.
It's a high-end version of,
Yeah, it's a high-end sex toy store.
Yeah.
Some of
what's
them
the
have smoothie bars.
Big place we have here, the mega...
Well,
The adult video megaplex?
Megaplex is one, but there's Dreamers. I think it's the...
Yeah.
I always found that to be the classier version of the Walmart versus the Target, if you will. You know?
That is really interesting, and that's how you see them.
Because
So-
Dreamers have been there for forever.
Well,
Dreamers
it's
is
because
like
of the
the-
employees. Like I'd met the employees outside of work and also talked to them while they were, and they all made very good money, and they also just don't give a shit if you're perverted or not.
Yeah.
They don't care. You can come in and do whatever you want. You can pee in the corner. It doesn't matter. Because they got paid commission and they made a lot of money.
So Dreamers is, because we're here in Austin. Dreamers
Texas.
is like a local Austin company,
Yeah.
and I think there's 5 of them now. There's the 3 around town
I
here.
know there was 2. There's one off Lamar up north, I think.
There's the University one. There's the North. There's the one off of 35 next to La Rouge, which is also that's like a dance clothing store. And by dance, I mean like exotic dancer, stripper.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not like jazz or ballet or tap or anything like that.
It's where strippers shop.
Different kind of dance.
It's a great place for Halloween too.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's a lot of business there,
Yeah.
and then there's a couple more up towards the Dallas area. But it's a local kind of like a more indie sort of space.
Sure.
Adult Video Megaplex is actually part of a larger chain.
Oh,
and
really?
Yeah. There's many of them, and they're owned by a larger company. And it's more of a. It's funny when you're describing that. I'm like, oh, well, that's interesting, because to me, Dreamers is like the Thundercloud subs. Of,
Well, sure.
Or like the Amy's ice creams of whatever.
Yeah, I
And
guess
the
I
adult video
couldn't think of
Megaplex.
anything that was that close or similar to something that was Austin. The Amy's ice cream to a Dryer's
a Cold Stone.
or Cold Stone Creamery.
Yes, yeah. Adult
okay.
Video Megaplex is actually. I can't think of an ice cream store that has like if there was one conglomerate company that owned Ben and Jerry's, like Baskin Robbins and Cold Stone.
Oh, sure.
That would be whatever the Adult Video Megaplex.
Wow.
is.
Scheinhard Wigs, I think.
Yeah.
So, and then there's still to this day. Actually, I saw it recently. There is that little small XXX sign off of the 35. That tiny little barely lit one where you're like way back there.
Sure.
And that, unless they've
Like
changed
south
it.
of Parma, I think.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's down there.
Yeah.
That is like a
That
gallery
one?
store, which is interesting.
It's a what?
A gallery store.
It's a gallery store, exactly.
It's full of booths. It's a jerk-off store. Sorry.
An arcade.
An arcade.
Yeah. As an 18-year-old buck,
Yeah.
I did determine that arcade is not the word they meant.
Totally want to play some Ms. Pac-Man.
Right. I was like, well, maybe like a porn version of Miss Pac-Man. Like anything except for this, please. Except for this. I met interesting people. Anyway.
There used to be booths in the Dreamers off of the 35.
Yeah, really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
many days ago. My very, very good friend Nate Glass, who now owns Takedown Piracy, he started out. Well, he worked at a different adult store up in Dallas, and then moved to Austin and started his career basically at the Dreamers. And he worked at that one, and there used to be booths there. And then there's this woman who owns Hard Candy up in North Austin. Her name's Mika. And she...
Is it a novelty store or is it a lingerie store?
It's a lingerie store.
Okay, that's
and she was the one who started the La Rouge booths for Dreamers. And so
Yeah.
it's just this really interesting history of like community space. Why is the store here? Why
Right.
are they next to each other? All that stuff.
And how they happen to be businessmen first before perverts, and like really most of
those
your
things.
No, that's crazy talk.
right.
all those things.
Make
like-
making money off of porn. That's insane.
And that's
and
that,
it's a family company. It's
yeah.
an interesting thing
Well,
to
like
think
the
about.
like the Fleshlight people, like they know.
Go local, Austin.
keep Austin weird.
Keep Austin local.
Yeah, if this is the first time you've heard Chauntelle on our show, or the first time you've heard our show, you should listen to the other episodes because they're also excellent because she's excellent. But that's the thing that I've always just really wanted to emphasize is the fact that these are just normal fucking people who found a thing that people want.
Yeah.
And they're not like, they didn't grow up and say like, oh, I can't wait to sell women's underpants. No, they're like, no, hey, so this is something that I might have wanted.
Yeah.
Sell a thing. My family will help me. It's like, that's awesome. That's the American dream.
There's actually an
is. It
excellent
absolutely
Mr. Show sketch about that.
Is there?
Yeah, where the family, the mom and dad, they run the porn store, and their kid just doesn't wanna. I don't wanna sell dildos, Dad. Like, you will sell this dildo.
Is he waving it like that?
Was it like that?
Yes, I'm sure it was shaky. Yeah,
Of course.
It's an excellent sketch. But yeah, it's he was making money. It's all it is.
And that's because it is. That will always happen. There will always be that person who's like, no, I don't want to do. Like, yeah, that's perfect.
Oh, yeah.
mimicry of.
In any
imitating life.
industry, in anything,
Yeah.
there will always be that little prodigal son who's like, I hate this thing that paid for my life.
Oh, I'm so tired of skateboarding all the time, Dad.
I'm sure Tony Hawk's kid is
Exactly.
like, Dad, you're so tall. And like,
You know what, Dad? I'm gonna get roller skates. Fuck you.
yeah,
No, Dad, I want to be an accountant.
totally. You're like, his name's like Brody Hawk or something, and he's there like, I'm going to MIT. I'm going to...
I'm gonna build robots, Dad.
And Tony Hawk's like, seriously?
Just
Okay.
Can you just okay, fine.
Fine.
Oh, okay.
That's cool, bro. Like, live your dream.
You're pretty
Like,
close. It was Riley Hawk, is his son's name.
I was making Brody up, but Riley is
Yeah.
not that far off.
That- no,
He might self-identify as Brody.
Riley is so on trend, Dad. Brody is like, I'm Brody.
Riley's my skate slave name. Cheers.
Jeez.
Skate slave name.
Hey,
That's exactly.
Yeah.
Little fucking kids, man.
Another T-shirt idea.
Doesn't even matter.
Cadence Clover is his daughter.
Of course.
Oh
it
no,
is.
he has two other kids too, Keegan and Spencer.
And
Yeah,
Michael
why not?
Key, yeah.
And Michael
Sure.
Key. Yeah.
Sure.
Oklahoma. So like when you brought it up before off air, you were talking about Oklahoma. Like, why am I going to Oklahoma? But like you found some places. Too.
Oh yeah. No, I'm going. It's actually kind of interesting. I'm going and speaking to a graduate student deviance class about research methods.
Cool.
Because apparently I'm so weird as a sociologist that I'm doing deviant research.
Yeah, I was going to say, is that a term I'm missing, or are they saying
I thought
deviant?
the class was
as-
about deviant.
It is.
Like,
It's
So
Okay.
they're using that
the-
term like okay.
so
Yeah.
they pull you in because they're like.
you're an
Apparently.
all-knowing in deviancy. Okay.
apparently.
Like we like to think of higher learning as this really mature thing.
You know, I was.
We need an expert
I
in
was
deviancy. Who's the most nefarious person we
Fucking
know?
bunch of babies like, let's get Chauntelle over because she's weird.
Yeah.
I'm actually in. There's 2 full pages. Like if you open up, there's this textbook, and it's a sociology of deviance textbook, and I am in there as a person who, as an academic, a researcher, and as a career
deviant,
creator,
Yeah.
I am a deviant.
Huh.
And there
Or
I am
like
with
a,
my
a
face.
strict definition of the term of like, oh, she's not doing what she's not.
It's more of an outlier than like a
right.
or whatever. So I'm going to talk to these grad students. I'm going to talk to these undergrads because undergrads, you're like, you say pink banana, and they're like, so that's gonna be fun. And then there's supposed to be some sort of like reception or something with. Which I'm like,
Will there be protesters?
I doubt. I don't know.
It's Oklahoma.
I don't. That's the thing. So a friend of mine, he's this older gentleman. He went to medical school. He's in his 60s, and he went to medical school at OU. Subtract 40 years, which I can't do that quickly. He went there then,
Yeah,
and
sure.
he was in the Air Force, and so his path was kind of interesting. And he's like, I have not been back to Oklahoma and since I finished medical school because that place is horrible.
Yeah.
And it was horrible then, and you're going to go there now. But he's actually coming to listen to the talks and stuff.
Oh,
And
great.
yeah,
Great.
because he has friends who live there still. So it's going to be an interesting kind of like fun meetup sort of thing. But he is very concerned. He's like, there's going to be protesters. I'm like, I'm speaking in some classes. Like, there's no way.
If they manage to get a Hustler store built, there can't be that many protesters.
OU is
Instead of Planned Parenthood.
in,
Oh, that's true.
right, they're gonna bomb it. OU is in a small town called Norman.
Yeah.
It's about 30, well, I didn't know this,
If
30
you,
miles
if
away.
you live in Texas, you know where that place sucks. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's
And
in our
then-
song. Yeah.
And then the Hustler store is in Oklahoma City, like proper. So I don't know if there's a big. I have never even been in the state of Oklahoma, so I'm like really excited.
Neither have
actually.
I. So,
They had an excellent science museum, like a huge, excellent science museum that was great for adults and for children, and I'm sure it's a Walmart now. But they also kind of passed fuck it marriage rules. I'll talk about that off air so we can all get on the same page.
oh, that's right. They did. Yeah.
But they
yeah.
did something that's actually really interesting that a lot of people poo-pooed for a bit, where they said, all right, so now it's only up to the person who's going to marry you whether you get a certificate or not. So it's not a
Cool.
federal thing anymore.
It's
But
not
they're
even a
saying,
local thing
It's,
anymore.
yeah, so like they're saying now that if you want to have, if somehow one of us is your priest, whoops,
Hey.
we can do that. We can do it legally. You can marry a toaster if you want to, you know. And as long
Sweet.
as we sign the thing, it's totally fine. Out of the government's hands.
I'm not sure that actually got passed or not.
No, that's law, I think now.
Well,
Yeah.
we'll come back to that.
But yeah, we'll come back to that.
we need to fact check that one.
Yeah. Well, because no one really wants to marry a toaster. There's no consent there. God damn it.
Toaster can't consent.
Some people like burn marks.
I know several.
Eat fresh. Let's take our first break, and I'll come back and talk to Chauntelle Tibbals more. Break.
Put on a packet, bit of trash. Shit, I got to get to where
Anything to get ahead.
game home and quilt great. Wipe the dust off the canvas and wait till we break. Like, damn, what a vibe. Woo! I got my old souls.
Welcome back to the show, everybody.
Yay!
Drunkest Live segment 2, episode 145.
Well, here, wash down with some of that.
Still here at Dr. Depot, still hanging out with, of course, Dylan, and still hanging out with Dr. Chauntelle Tibbals.
Yay!
She's trying all sorts of new things.
You like the press better, huh?
In the audience, we have Donnie Dotson, we have Adam McWaters, and we have Banjo coming back for some time, hanging out and having a great time, I think. I thought. Yeah.
Yay!
We'll talk to them later.
Yeah. If they're willing to stick around, I actually would like to have a secondary show, if possible. We will call the police. No, I got my phone. It's plugged in. Segment 2, we're still talking about the things that are relevant to Dr. Chauntelle Tibbals specifically. There's a lot of things that happened. Really, I mean, it hasn't just been the week. Like, we like to talk about things that happened over the week, but like,
It's been like 6 months.
yeah,
Yeah, it has.
Yeah.
Not necessarily in a good way either.
No, not
Yeah.
necessarily in a good way.
That Texas heat, man, it'll get you.
It's interesting that there are a certain number of topics that we wanted to talk about on a weekend during Pride.
Oh, well,
Pride Week.
that's ironic.
I don't you think? But like I said before, you've been very, very busy, and we gave you a lot of stuff to think about, so stuff to chew on. What is it? Ashley Madison? Is that what
Ashley
you really
Madison
want
is
to
the
talk about?
that's,
Ashley Madison is the thing.
Let's do this.
That's number one.
All right, so if
We made her get a shot, so it's her choice.
let's
now,
go
yeah?
ahead. Yeah. shot. Yeah. Cheers, everybody. So if you don't know what happened, now you know. Ashley Madison makes no. Ashley Madison does not even try to pretend that it's anything else.
No, yeah, their whole advertising is basically come have an affair. Life is
Life's short.
Yeah.
Have an affair.
It
Yeah.
literally says at the bottom, is the most famous name in infidelity and married dating. It is
Yeah.
not a place where people go to just find a hookup.
It's not a fantasy. It's not an online dating. It's
Right.
you come here to cheat on your significant other.
Yes.
Well, it did, but
As it's being sold, only by it's sold. And
Hold on.
yeah.
Because it is all of those things, but it also the first of all, what is it? I was in 12th grade once and studied Shakespeare. What is it? The sin of the this of that of excessive pride? Is it hubris?
Hubris,
right?
yes, hubris,
So
yeah.
Ashley Madison and its hubris. The reason Ashley Madison is not the only site that's like Ashley
Oh, no, of
Madison.
course,
There's
of course, of
many,
course.
many others.
Yeah, but they wanted to be
Ashley
famous.
Madison is the only one that tried to like advertise at the Super Bowl. Like that was only Ashley Madison.
Yeah.
And they're Canadian too, which is weird.
Yeah. It's wild up there. It's because there's so much snow. You can't go outside
Well,
for
actually,
like 9 months out of the year.
At the end of this blurb, it says Ashley Madison is the most famous name in infidelity and married dating. Sorry. Yeah. So
Sorry.
very Canadian.
But it's the idea of doing it with discretion. So
Right.
all of
Yeah.
what Ashley Madison was like, hey, like you're in this, I'm in this. Like there's a reason why we're looking to do this, but I don't want to like hang out with you. Like I don't
Yeah.
like I just there's just this piece. So there is that aspect to it, which I feel is important to emphasize when describing what Ashley Madison does. Okay, continue.
Yeah, that's
And
fine.
yeah, so
that's
that-
why you're the doctor.
Absolutely. Yeah. The discretion is very important, and you can't promise that unless you're
Of course not.
prepared. And you can't ever really be prepared, especially when it comes to
You
security
can never
online.
promise that when you're
Right.
talking about humans, because it could be like, I signed up for Ashley Madison and we're talking, and
Yeah.
but oh my god, I just want to talk to you some more. And you're like, we met on Ashley Madison. You're not
we're like,
supposed to
we're
call me
really not
anymore.
supposed to- Wow, how'd you get this phone number?
But like, I'm going to keep calling you.
Yeah.
You can never. Whenever you're dealing with humans, you cannot say you're doing anything. And then whenever you're dealing with the internet, you cannot say that that nothing is private, nothing is secure, nothing is. It doesn't matter what it is. Like
That's-
as soon as you touch a keyboard, like as soon as you just your hands hover over, like you.
The
it's
NSA knows,
2015.
Google knows,
Sure.
Facebook
It's
knows.
2015. Like what do you think you're doing?
Yeah.
Anyway.
No, actually,
And it
that-
blew up on them. Like part of the preface,
Yeah.
it did blow up on them because their entire user base, or if not the entire, a large
a significant number. It was like
amount.
35 million
Credit card
names.
information, email addresses, real addresses.
Yeah.
A lot of information was released by people
Yes.
who were, for whatever reason.
Well, hackers do what hackers do because
Sure.
But
Some of them do it for social reasons. Some of them do it for lulz,
Yeah.
depending on
But
which group it is.
do we even think about the John McAfee theory that it was an inside job
I've not
of
heard
one
that.
person?
But
so
go on.
McAfee, the McAfee of McAfee virus.
Yeah, but he's
McAfee.
also insane and hiding in Bolivia or something. So.
But at the same time, I mean,
Yeah.
he clearly knows about that.
he does know about internet security.
He
yeah.
knows about some stuff,
Well,
and that's an interesting. Maybe he's just saying that because he's got a profile in there somewhere. I don't know.
well, it's. I mean, it's not outside the realm of possibilities for sure.
Yeah.
Yesterday, BBC reported that the founder stepped down.
That's actually
If
responsible.
he knew or if
They
he didn't
are-
know, he did. Yeah, of course.
They're
he'd be
publicly
responsible.
traded, I think, right?
I don't know.
It's a Lively Media or something.
I wouldn't-
It's a
I-
huge.
God, I hope so.
I wouldn't be surprised if the hubris, right? Like-
No, it's a giant media conglomerate. It's not just that.
It
I
is.
should imagine they have like a bunch of other things.
Yes. Yeah.
And I think that they're publicly traded. So it makes sense. Socially responsible for him to do that because a significant site got hacked and public information was released. That's
But that's
Sure.
the thing about it that's interesting is that, okay, so hypothetically speaking, it was a hack.
Mm-hmm.
That's not their fault. Because if you can hack banks,
Yeah.
if you can hack Target, like you can't, if there's an entity of people out there who have that capability, that's beyond, that's you can't protect against that. And that's the thing
Yeah.
that's interesting. Like there's the data mining aspect, and then there's the actual security. You know more. So you can then.
no.
Because my
Dylan-
knowledge
Dylan
of
is
hackers
literally
comes-
biting his knuckles right now.
comes solely from the movie Hackers, so
which is the best Angelina Jolie movie ever made.
One of the best
it is
documentaries ever made.
also the best Johnny Lee Miller film.
High five
People,
right there.
hello.
Yeah. Yeah.
Think Trainspotting, think Sick Boy, and then go back.
Because I know
to
I know who
Hackers.
he is because I think the television show Elementary is terrible, but I like him. I've always liked him since Hackers, and I couldn't remember what else he'd been there. But yeah, Trainspotting.
Trainspotting,
Forgot about
yeah.
that.
Sick Boy.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
okay, so it is possible. Like
No. What I was getting.
it's their negligence.
No, I had a totally separate thing. It's not. The reason for that is specifically the modern business climate of a publicly traded or large business entity. The technical, you're correct. The technical thing about that is the CEO can't be responsible for it. It's not his position.
Right.
As far as the technical bottom level, people can hack my stuff. But as a large mega corp, he has to
for sure.
because
Yes,
it's better for the
yeah.
company. Fall on a sword
for
kind
sure,
of thing.
for sure.
But he's falling on a sword made of pure gold. and
Yeah.
getting a big
Yeah, of
giant
course.
package is fine.
Well, yeah, and he's going to be CEO of anything else
no.
afterwards.
But the
I'm
reason
not
the reason it's
worried
happening is
about
not
that.
because of the actual hack; it's because of a business thing.
Yeah, it's a symbol.
I just had to
well,
do that.
some board is probably like
Yeah,
yeah.
it's a show a sign of
capitulation.
capitulation. Yeah, I started that and I stopped.
Yeah. Never doubt yourself, please.
Well, I know last week I made so many mistakes.
I won't bring that up. But
So, Hacked released.
I got hacked.
And now there are people who are losing their jobs, which total bullshit. People who are ending their lives, also total bullshit.
Saying total bullshit that's not actually happening.
That it's inaccurate
It's
information?
I
Or that-
believe that it is possible that it is happening.
Okay.
I find it absolutely terrible
Okay.
that that's
I
happening.
just want to clarify your
Oh
point.
yes, no, thank you.
That
Yes.
phrasing of total bullshit.
Yes,
Yeah.
like
Okay.
just somebody's going to lose their job. It was the prosecuting attorney for Casey Anthony, in that not for Casey Anthony, in the Casey Anthony situation.
Circus.
Circus,
Yeah.
pre-porn, vagina, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
He had a profile on there, and there was a whole like, you can't be. Was it a southern state, Louisiana, something? He was somewhere southern. I read there was a whole
Sure.
write up on it,
Good.
and he's like, "Fuck you!" Like, Bill Clinton was getting a blowjob in the White House. Like, my job and my sex life have nothing to do with
I
one
appreciate
another.
that, but
My counter to that would only be
he's
because
like
If he's getting
elected
a
official.
blowjob
but-
on like
Well, I would-
someone else, if he's giving billable hours,
Yeah, yeah.
like, that's different. That's
oh
fraud,
no, I
though.
understand.
That's fraud.
That's
actually,
fraud.
like,
That's
okay.
that's waste. It might even be considered embezzlement. You know.
Right,
Yeah.
but him losing, like him being called out to lose his job or
Right.
apologize
If
or
he's
this or
a
that.
DA, he's a public official.
Right.
That
it,
makes
it doesn't matter. It absolutely
well, DAs are
doesn't
elected.
matter.
They have to have an accountability.
It
so.
shouldn't matter, but at the same time, I would also say, like, we were bringing this conversation up before about Ashley Madison. Like, in the longest of every culture, there's one or two or three types of people you always know are the bad people.
Right.
The
The-
adulterers, the thieves, and the,
the
liars.
pedophiles.
Well, the pedophiles, well,
Sorry.
depending on what religion it is. Like,
to Jared.
to Jared.
Oh, we're getting there though.
We'll get there eventually, yeah. Don't
You're-
jump the
You're
gun.
not forgetting about you, Jared.
Don't eat fresh yet, okay?
Poor Subway.
Some sweet
It's
Thai
not their
food.
fault.
Am I right?
But
I
this-
mean, it is though because I knew about it since 2008. Sorry, we're distracting. Yes.
It's our other beetle.
But so there's something about that says that now you found out if you trusted a person that you probably can't trust them. I can see only.
It's way more complicated
I
than
know
that,
it is.
though.
I know.
Which is why-
I'm just saying, devil's advocate.
you
Like
need to
I can
stop
see.
talking and let Chauntelle explain because she's the expert.
Not yet. I'm just trying to bring up. Yeah, I'm just trying to say, like, as a devil's advocate, that's a reasonable thing to say. Like, now we know this is what we thought we were going to get from you, which was at least some kind of discourse of honesty.
For sure. So this guy
Is it
entered
enough?
into
No,
this,
but, yeah.
this guy entered into a contract that we, as a society, we have a normative understanding of. That is. Well, okay, so then there's but that's with this thing that there's multiple levels to it.
It's
So
so-
there's
yeah,
the
it's very
marriage
complex.
or the long-term relationship contract that we conventionally understand as no outside whatever, especially no secret outside whatever.
Consent.
But what if it was consensual?
Right.
What if it was a consensual secret or it wasn't even a secret at all? It was consensual. Like
Right.
even
Yeah.
then people are still the idea
You use
that people can be polyamorous is too
Oh,
like
yeah.
pff,
Oh,
for
yeah.
people to even
Yeah, sure.
think about. So
Except for Miley
But
Cyrus.
you use Tinder for that. You know, that's what I was saying. Though is like,
or use Ashley Madison because you don't think
Yeah.
somebody is going. No, because then you
Well, yeah.
don't have a public profile.
And I agree with Chauntelle on this
Yeah,
one.
okay.
It's for people who that's their jam. Go for it. Have an outlet to do this.
sure.
So
The only thing that I think really and truly about, I mean, aside from it being sad, aside from it being like a bunch of fucking people who are like, oh, I'm so upset. Like, are you really upset? Like, did you really not know this?
Right.
Or do you really want to be around somebody who was going to do this and you didn't know about it and you're upset about it? Like, is this really a bad thing or is this not, thank God I found out about this today versus 5 years or whatever? The only thing about it, I think, that is like in kind of a social aching point is that this is an opportunity that we can all look at and go, hey, we need to talk about stuff.
Yeah.
Or
let's
find
talk
a way
about
to
sex, baby. I think is what we're
yes,
looking for.
you and me, and maybe
Yes.
someone
All-
else.
all the things that can be. Yeah.
Yes,
It's
and
that
all
pure-
the good things and the bad things.
that can
Yes.
be.
Yes.
puritanical
That's the thing, and we don't want to do that. Like as a culture, we do not want to do that on so many levels.
We're scared of it,
and it's such a problem. Clearly, because it could be. I read this long op-ed about this woman who. She has children. Her husband has cancer. It is terminal.
Yeah,
she is this.
yeah.
Yes, obviously it was sent.
Very,
and it was just you're like
specific for the preface for people who don't know. Like, it's cancer, kids, and she tried to be gentle about a conversation about being sexually active with the person. Like he felt like he couldn't. He felt bad for himself. And
so what is she supposed to be?
Yeah.
His like celibate nurse forever?
And I know,
exactly.
I know.
And it's like something like that. Like even when you try to talk about it, like you get to such like psychological, interpersonal. Like there's no answer for this. But the moment that is happening right now is this clear crystallization that we have to change what we're doing in terms of how we are negotiating, navigating, talking, whatever. It can be exactly what we're doing. It can be different. Everybody's different. All of these things. But the idea that something has to change is what is important.
That's very important.
Okay. And that's the most significant piece, I think.
And something that really boils down to is like you have that relationship, you have a person, like, and it is very extreme. But it's still very important. Like you have this person who will not be able to satisfy this thing in them. Now we start getting to the complexity of what is marriage, what's the importance of marriage, what's the importance of your own personal sexual satisfaction. People trying to say that they're hedonists, or people trying to say that I know, but it becomes so easy to just try to put labels instead of saying,
of course,
like,
and it's like all of this judgy and all like you don't fucking know what. I'm sure there are a lot of assholes on there, and there's probably a lot of assholes. There's probably a lot of jerks. There's probably a lot of meanies, and then there's a lot of neutrals, and then there's a lot of.
I like the word meanie.
But you know what I mean? There's a range, though. Is the thing there is a range, and we get so stuck in this right or wrong normative idea about what things mean.
Sure.
And
Binaries.
just because it's way more complicated than that. And I mean, like,
well, and that's why, like, especially like, so they're selling this product. This product is.
It's not Ashley Madison's fault. Like, that's
no,
the thing about it.
I was going to go into something a little bit that it's poignant, but it's also frustrating because it almost seems fake to me that it was fake in the first place. So Ashley Madison.
that particular story?
Yeah, well, not that part. So like so Ashley Madison's selling a product, and they say like this is for married people, men and women, and then through the hack, we're starting to determine, or someone determined, that only 3 in every 10,000 female accounts were actually real people.
Well, then there's all of that.
And so,
that gets
then
into what's happening.
The math gets confusing, but that actually just seems like a way to
sad.
try to, well, I mean, not even just sad. If it's true, it's sad, but it feels like it's bullshit. It feels like a way to whitewash the entire situation for these people who are committing suicide, if they're committing suicide.
Sure.
That's the thing, is like, well, they could be committing suicide. Let's look at the data.
Right.
And, there's not that many women, so those people are also liars. Like, God damn, it's so complex.
Yeah, there's so much to it.
It's so much to it, so much to unpack.
And the thing that's funny about it, too, is that, of course, nobody ever talks about this, is what's going to happen on, like, an FTC. Like, if that's true, like, what is going... Because it's already happening with adult dating sites. Like, things like... I don't even want to say the ones that I don't like, but the ones I do like are ones like...
I could use those names.
Clips for Sale.
No. I mean, no, Clips for Sale is a different type of thing. Clips for Sale is awesome.
Yeah.
No, like Cam 4 or My Free Cams.
I'm writing this
places
down.
like that. No, those are reputable, respectable, like, but camming companies where you're like, so many chicks in this area are looking to chat with you right now, but they're bots.
Yeah.
And so what's happening is with terms of service and do you know what you're buying and whatever, is there's this whole back and forth that's been brewing now for a year, probably a little bit longer, in the sense that there are very many of these networks that are like, we're totally making a bot, we're selling you a bot, and you want this bot because you just want to jerk off.
Yeah.
And then there's other who are like, there's a woman in my area code that wants to talk to me. And you get into this place where it's like, you present to a person like, are you talking to a real human, a real woman, a bot, bot run by a dude? Like,
Right,
who are you
right.
speaking to? And
a
then
soundboard for lack of a better word, yeah.
And how much disclosure is involved, and that's the piece that I have not seen any coverage at all with this Ashley Madison thing. Is like how much of the profile havers, like the dudes who are looking to bang some chick outside of their regular chick, how much recourse do they have in the sense that they were presented? This was a place where I could find some lady to fuck. Like, they actually do have some sort of recourse if that is in fact that statistic.
That's a really
curious
aspect of it.
Yeah, and it's not. It's interesting because you're selling a product that is off mark with what you're presenting.
Yeah. And I mean, if you're selling entertainment, sell entertainment.
Right.
You're dropping a specific service.
Right.
You have to.
And that's been happening with Cam, and people are like, they don't really know how to regulate it. They're like, you know, like in a term of service, it says, hey, this might be this person, or it might just be a respondent. And it says that. So like, what about the person who gets pissed, or the person who's happy with it, or the person who doesn't care? The person who gets pissed was presented with that information, but they still get pissed later. Because that happens, obviously. You're like,
oh, yeah, of course, yeah.
Oh, we totally said you're getting a cheese pizza. And you're like, why isn't there pepperoni on this pizza? You're like, because you bought a cheese pizza, motherfucker.
Well, and for every person...
Human Sentai porn.
For every 17 people who, like, didn't read the rules, there's also, like, a person like me who thought he read the rules right. Because there was one time back in my long ago when I was single, I signed up for, like, one of these things. It was like, just put in your email address, uncheck some boxes, do some things. It was very obscure, all the rules. And then I hit a thing, and then I paid $1 for 1 day of entrance into one thing, and it turns out I signed up for 15 different sites, and it was going to cost me $35, and I had to have the worst conversation with a dude about my subscription to bigfattits.com. Which
whoever owns that URL.
Which, because I did not go to that site, or like I don't care really, but it's like having to talk to a person who literally is just getting paid $7 an hour to just tell people no, or to say fine, we're not going to refund that. Like it happens very often because it's easy to make money
a
off
lot
of
of
obscuring.
times it doesn't happen because people won't even
call.
call.
Of course.
And that's the thing that's been happening.
But
that's what's been happening with sex media is that people are just like, fuck it, I'm not doing it. I'm just going to go to a tube site.
Right.
I'm going to go to a whatever.
Right.
I'm going to go to Tinder and turn Tinder into a fuck site instead of a date site because it was supposed to be a date site and now, or no, it's a fuck site, the date site, back and forth. Reframe whatever the app is for whatever are like common purposes.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that's really in sex media. People have been going, you know what? For 15 years we did stuff like that where we were like, hey, check this box, do this, $1, sign in, and then for the next 12 months of your life, until that credit card expires, you're like, oh, or until you want to fight it with your credit card company because you're surely not going to call and have the conversation. And that's the thing that's really interesting.
Well, but I'm the guy who's going to have that conversation because, like I know the rules. I look at the thing.
But you're an exception.
No, I know that too, and I also know that level of exposure, not exposure, but the.
It's a book by Dr. Chauntelle.
Yes, true.
It is. Pink banana.
But that level of what's the word I'm looking
disclosure.
For? Is difficult for the normal person to just try to pay attention to, and I don't know if it happens anymore. I don't think it even happens that much anymore because it's much easier to say, like you said, like just go to a tube site and then click on an ad for local moms or whatever.
There's a South Park about this.
Yes, there is.
There is.
Is there?
Yeah.
Yes, I can't remember which one of the kids. It was Stan or Kyle.
It was.
And they didn't
was it
read,
really old when they found?
No, it's like this past season. It was
no. It's a few seasons back.
Didn't read
It didn't read.
Oh no, that was the Human Sentai pad.
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
We need to take a break. I'll research this because I don't believe any of you.
There are two different South Park episodes. Human Sentai pad,
of course,
is one of them. The other was a.
Well, we still need to take a break.
Yeah,
so we'll talk about this and we'll come back after this.
Yeah.
Break.
Don't criticize Drake.
Shit, I got to get to where I'm going on this fortified train, slowly sewing my name on the quilt. Great, wipe the dust off the canvas and wait till we breaks. Like damn, what a vibe! Woo! I got my old soul.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. Yeah. Okay. Segment 3, the Fighting 3.
Fighting 3.
It's Fighting 3.
What are we fighting about today?
Today we're fighting about gender rights. So actually, the medicine thing, it's hard for me to continue to talk about it. All right, so to give a small preface, I went to the gym this week, and there was a person at the gym who was a gentleman who was taking a very long time and had all of his stuff spread it everywhere. So he literally would not allow my friend Chance and myself to leave because he just took over everything.
Was he like blockading the lockers?
He was blocking the lockers.
Okay.
He was blocking the only bench where you can change. Like, I had to put my shoes on standing up like a monster, you know.
Oh, fucking
White people
son of a bitch.
You know, and like, I'm a pretty tolerant person.
You are exceptionally tolerant.
I'm exceptionally tolerant, but like, when I see a thing, like, my road rage is not because I need to go somewhere, it's because everyone else is being mean. I don't like mean people. And I know at some point that I need to remove myself from a situation because I will embarrass myself and people around me by saying things I shouldn't. Like, hey, don't smash that beer on the bar here because it's going to break.
We can laugh at Tammy.
Right. And so all I can do at that point is say, like, all right, I'm going to leave. So the Ashley Madison thing, the reason why I brought it up again is I felt like a monster because I don't know how I can reconcile the conversation between not the legitimate person who actually has a true problem, like a person who really needs just the human touch of another person, that 0.00001% of the population, and the person who just really just wants to have sex with a mom, you know, like it's
you
trying
don't
to find
have
a thing.
to reconcile it. That's the whole point. Is that it's
know.
not up to you. Like you can have your
Yeah, that's
opinion
true.
and your
Yeah.
thought and your feeling. Those are 100% valid and real and is just as important as everything else. It doesn't have to be anything other than that. But it also doesn't discount the fact that those other perspectives are also there.
Of course. But like when we start talking about Josh Duggar or we talk about Jared Fogle,
Is it Duggar or Duger?
Duger, I think is Duger.
I thought it was Duggar.
I mean,
Duggar.
potato,
A lot.
The
you know.
Duggar.
Yeah.
They call me the Duggar. That was probably his name on Ashley Madison.
The
So-
Doug.
Dude, what
If
about
you know-
what about the guy whose picture he used for all those profiles?
Wait. So I didn't. What?
Oh, I didn't
What?
know that. Let me give a small preface. So
Sorry.
as part of the Ashley Madison hack, we found out that one of the sons of the main family
Yeah.
of the 19 or 18 and counting group,
19.
19 County.
and they aren't. I thought they were Mormons.
They're not
No, they're
Mormons.
not.
They're not Mormons.
They're just assholes.
They are a very, very specific type of Christianity that's very weird in a way. Like, the
It's
same kind
just different from how you and I live our lives.
well, I mean, like, you know, I understand that,
It's exceptional.
and I believe
outlier.
that. But at the same time, like, I reserve the right to say that a Jehovah Witness person who says that
No birthdays!
his wife can't wear jeans because he says so, like, I'm not okay with that. Like,
You can be not okay with it.
I know, and they can do whatever they want. That's cool, you know.
But the point you're
We
making,
can boil it down to.
I think the point you're
Right.
making is that even though there are personal beliefs that are theirs, that's fine that they're theirs. They are so different that most people go, that's kind of different.
Well,
And not judgmental. They're saying
Yeah, sure.
that's exceptionally
I
not.
don't understand that.
well, the point is,
Question-
like,
yeah.
we start focusing on how different it is, and then we see this person. So, like, really, it starts off as a judgment. These people don't appreciate their women, and they want them to be subservient. Whatever, fine. We don't like that. They like that. Cool. And then Josh Duggar, or whatever it is, gets caught, like,
molesting his sisters.
molesting his sisters as a child, and then growing up to
And the parents covering it up.
then growing up to using Ashley Madison in order to have sex with people outside of his marriage.
like Dylan Harper.
While lobbying
in
Congress
Sure.
for defense of marriage and whatever stuff and traditional life.
And my problem is, like, that first judgment of, like, not liking his life of style, you know, his lifestyle. Those words go together, lifestyle. Is obfuscating the actual true point is that his wife is never going to get out of it.
Yeah.
Because the way their religion works is that
Right.
she doesn't have an education.
No,
she has
she's-
no way
she's
out of
not-
it. So
right,
like the
right,
only
right.
thing that can
But-
happen is for him to try to pretend to go to counseling and then make things better.
Fucking
Like,
rehab. Like, just,
Yeah.
like, dude, you
Yeah.
don't have a problem to rehabilitate from. You're a douchebag.
yeah, you're a douchebag with a camera near you. That's the problem.
But also, and I do not, I was speaking to a woman from Reuters, like,
Sure.
it's fancy. I'm like, woo, lady.
Reuters
Mean
or
Reuters?
Reuters. Dugar or Dugar?
Yeah.
The letter.
She had an
Two.
English accent, and I feel like she said Reuters, but I don't know.
Well,
But if she did, I would respect that because that would be more correct than
if
us.
she had an English accent, she's probably right. So.
That's what I said.
Cheers.
I'm like, I don't understand anything.
Fine.
I hang out
will
with my friend
accept that
Tracy
slap
sometimes,
to the face.
and I'm like, I gotta translate for you, lady.
And I was speaking to her, and when you do like a quick media interview, sometimes they're really difficult because it's like, no, I didn't say that it was a flash in the pan. I said the content is here, but the media presentation is whatever. And so with that, I'm like, no, I didn't say that I think that Josh Duggar is anything other than a total piece of shit. But I'm also saying...
I'm saying that
this is a person who from... in no way, shape, or form does this... he's a grown-ass man. Like,
yeah, of course.
You get to a point where you're like, I don't care who did this, or this to you, or whatever happened to you. Like, you got to get the fuck over it and move on.
Yeah.
But when you're a person who has a pre-adolescent, adolescent, like, and you're like, think about, I mean, I was never a young adolescent boy, but I remember them around me, and the wind, and the boners, and the gross, and the this, and the pussing, and the oozing, and the nastiness that happens.
I don't think...
What movies have you been watching?
Yeah, I don't think...
I don't know.
Pussing is not specific.
Okay, so just, I'm trying to think of a word that conveys...
The Secret of the Ooze.
Yes,
sure.
That's not a Ninja Turtle movie. I don't remember green. But the point is that like you take a human with like whatever this little energy is that you have, and you take that little energy and you wrap it in a boy body, which is just like a girl body is at least contained in a way that like, and then you take this boy body and you're just like that's just, I don't know what it's like, but it seems like a lot of stuff that you can't really account for that happens. And regardless of whatever your perspective is, so you take that
as people who were boys.
Wait, but you take that young person and then you tell them like, I'm going to chop it off, I'm going to do this, it's not like that, blah, blah, blah. And you have this little mind and this little soul that has no control over those little balls or whatever is happening. And it's just like, you fuck that kid. That kid was
no one even knows, really.
Up.
It's not even science.
It's not even, but like the layer and the levels of fucked up that those two parents did to that. And he's one of the oldest kids. And as an oldest kid, I remember that my parents were like... real hard line, and then with each successive kid afterwards, I mean, this is the thing that happens with first kid, second, third, fourth,
and by 19
that kid
is doing anything he can to
but he's raised by a different level of crazy.
Sure.
And even though there's not an excusable, rational, there's nothing to talk about what he as a person did to these other young people around him. There is also such a level of contorted and fucked up that he was dealing with that you're just like, was he as a young person really and truly responsible? Was he responsible and also a product of the environment? Like, what is happening? And then you go back and you're like, well, fucking Ted Bundy was killing kittens at age 12 or whatever. I'm making that up.
I really appreciate that you're taking a more objective...
it's not objective.
Dare I say politically correct view of this?
It's not politically correct
not
either.
Politically correct. I think it's
I really think the guy should get
know?
his like fucking backhanded and kicked in the balls.
Yeah,
and
because I was a young dude. Yeah.
And of course you're
and
like...
and I can say, that guy's fucked up.
Right.
Because...
But
you
were
point
not
specifically
being told that every time, every little piece of you, every little thought, everything that you couldn't even control. Imagine.
But I'm also not opening that up as an excuse for anything he's done ever. So
I'm not over. That's not an excuse either. But it's just like, or he could be a fucked up person in a fucked up situation. Did that exacerbate it? Like the idea that it's just more complicated. And I say that as an academic, as a sociologist, as all of these things that I'm not. But as Chauntelle, I'm like, he's a total piece of shit.
Okay, so I just want to make sure I'm understanding completely. You're just trying to paint a very clear picture that these are not black and white issues. There is complexity that goes way beyond just...
And
there has to be.
That's my point, though.
There has to be.
My point is, like, really what it comes down to, the majority of people who watch this thing unfold, they say like, well, yeah, fuck that guy. But they don't say fuck that guy because they don't have a good reason why. They just don't like his way of life. And they say,
that's the thing,
but
too.
they're not looking at the actual, like, the victims here.
But see,
like,
you
it could
can
be
go...
it could be him as a victim, not knowing what he's doing, not understanding what's right or what's wrong. But we know for a fact that his wife is never going to be able to get out of that.
No, she's trapped.
She's trapped.
She's completely trapped.
And that should be the real
She's
conversation.
the biggest victim of all,
She's
yeah.
the biggest victim.
It's
And
not
so,
that
like,
he got
Or
so
his
busted up.
children.
So
what
he-
about
he
his
gets-
children? Doesn't he have 2 kids?
well, then that's
Yeah.
the point. It's like, so the
Like, what do you do if that's your fucking dad?
Well,
Like, that's
I know,
3
I know.
levels of fucked up, because that's like the Duger, like the Jim Bob family, and then him, and then y'all, like as kids. I think he has got 2 kids. I mean,
That sounds close. Yeah, sure.
or he, I mean, he
2 to
just got
2 to
married.
15,
They've
who
only been
knows?
married for 18 months.
So they
They
probably-
only
So at least
have
2
2
kids.
They probably
children.
have 2 or 3 or 5 children at this point, you know.
I mean, multiple births are a thing now.
But we're also looking at, like, we're getting to an example where we're looking at, is it okay for him to want? Is he responsible for the things that he desperately needs?
That's why I only
To an example, to compare to the woman who is trying to find a way. This example we had before, the woman who is living with a man, she has children, man's ridden with cancer, he cannot provide certain things that she wants, not needs. It's not needs, that's the hard part. Is like it's trying to translate exactly what the needs are. Is his responsibility to himself and to his family that he needs something that he was brought up? Is he ignorant or is he arrogant? You know,
but wait. But we're talking about behaviors that we've been able to track. We've been able to track as people outside looking in.
as much as we can.
Especially as a deviant like yourself.
But yes, I know. I'm in a textbook. What can I say?
Queen deviant.
Hey. but he was in adolescence.
Sure.
He's an adolescent. So again, people are like, oh, those kids, they can't make the decisions for themselves. Like, those 18-year-olds, they shouldn't be able to go into the military. They shouldn't be able to make
Sure.
decisions about porn, da-da-da-da.
Yeah.
But they're adults. Like, and he was, what, 14, 15, 16?
When he was doing stuff to his sisters.
Sisters.
Yeah.
Not daughters,
These
sisters.
sisters, yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, and
Which
you're
is
just,
worse.
I don't know. It's
Yeah.
all.
It's really-
all.
it's
It
complex.
is all too as a person, as a human person sitting here reacting to it. It is all too much. I'm like, just kill him. Fuck it. Like, done.
Well,
Problem
no,
solved.
So
But-
here's the really
but
hard question,
as
though.
a-
Is it okay for her? Is it okay for his wife to cheat?
Yes.
At this point, I think she has clear reign to do whatever she
She can do
wants.
whatever she wants.
can
She
do
can do
whatever she wants.
cocaine
Yeah.
off of the
I think it's called
ass of some
reparations
dude
at this
while
point,
she's
yeah.
licking it. Like, she can
Sure.
do whatever she wants. Just get crazy, bitch. As
Off-
long as
off his bottom butt or whatever.
Consent is always involved, which involves people over the age of 18, because legally you cannot consent if you're under the age of 18. Consent is involved. Then
So
you can do
could
whatever
she
you
get like a porn contract from Vivid?
want. Probably. Or dog fart is the people who are really.
Dog fart?
I know.
We'll have to unpack that.
No, we don't. It's just, you just think about it and you're just like, seriously, guys?
Yeah. Well, it's like I was actually the supplement company Soylent that like they picked the name.
But that's
Yeah.
clever though. That's clever food pun.
But it makes people who know about the movie really upset because they're like, why did you choose that? Because that means that I'm eating humans. Like, people choose
have
a
enough.
name, and like just like Drunkcast, if we stick around long enough, we'll be far better than our name is ever going to allow us to be. You know?
Branding, baby, branding.
Dog fart. Like, dog fart?
No.
Well,
it's fart.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
We know how you feel about that.
yeah,
so.
yeah, you know, yeah.
I'm like thinking about my dog right now, Hank, and all he does is fart. And I'm like, dog farts are so cute.
Are they? Oh, I have cats, and they're not. So
No, they fucking, you could like visibly, like, no, it's not pleasant. But it's like, it just means he's super relaxed. Like, he's like, I'm all stretched out. I'm on my rug.
you translate it to a comfortable
I'm
dog. Then.
So what,
Farty.
you're, so what I'm hearing is that apparently
Adorable.
my dog
Adorable.
is the ultimate woman because she doesn't fart.
Yes.
And if she does, I don't smell it.
Back to the Duggar. The Duggar. There's no answer to that.
Yeah.
He's in so many spaces. And
Oh, he's
many
messed
ways.
up. Yeah, he's messed
But
up.
in many
but,
ways,
like,
this
yeah.
is going to be just like, ugh, but you got to give it to him.
in many ways, he's very valuable because he is such a fucking conundrum.
Yeah.
Like, where, like, even as I'm talking about this, I'm sitting here going, like, I cannot believe that I'm wondering what happened to this kid, but I'm wondering what happened to him as a kid.
Sure.
And even though what he did to other kids, like, you just...
Yeah.
But you have to.
You got to take the time to try to figure out what it means instead of just saying, like, well, that guy.
Okay, yeah,
Fuck that
it's
guy.
a bigger point.
Yeah.
It's not a black and white issue. There's a complexity
Yeah.
that people are just whitewashing, if you will.
And that was the reason why I brought up was, like, because in the media side, it's just easy to say,
He's a piece of shit.
well, because we knew he was a piece of shit because he was part of the family. Like, that doesn't mean much. And now he's doing things like everyone says, I knew that would happen. Like, no, you didn't. You know?
No, you didn't.
No, you
absolutely
had no
didn't.
fucking clue.
There's
Yeah.
at least 10 other boys that aren't doing all those things in that family.
Yeah.
In that family.
In that family.
In that family.
Yeah, in that family.
Yeah, like, do we even know? I know all their names start with J. And I know that there's Jessa and Jenna, because those are the older ones. But there's got to be like a Jebediah and a
Jacob,
Jeremiah.
Jebediah, yeah.
and a-
Josh, John David, Josiah, Joseph,
Jingleheimer Smith.
Jedediah, Jeremiah,
Wait, there's
Justin.
a Jedediah and a Jediah?
Yes.
Wow. What about a
very
Jupiter?
Justin,
creepy.
Jackson, Jason, James.
Wow.
Thank you, Google. That segment's brought to you by
And-
Google. Google searches. Like, look up all the Duggar family whenever you feel like it.
But what is little James? Like, what about James? I don't even know who James is.
Jackson is the youngest, it looks
Jackson or James.
like. He
or
looks like a serial killer.
Jedediah. Wait, there's Jedediah, and what's the other one?
Josh, John Davis, Josiah, Joseph, Jedediah, which is not a word.
Jedediah is a total Bible name.
Yeah, they're all Bible names.
Jedediah?
Yeah,
Jedediah.
Jedediah.
There's
That's like-
also Bathsheba and Beersheba.
No, but
That's
that's,
right.
that
I
sounds like
know.
someone stuttered. They're like, I write it down, whatever, you know.
I'm like, I'm
You
going
were-
to have this Bathsheba right now.
You were
I'm
never
not
a Catholic.
totally having a Beersheba.
I would have a Bathsheba brewery.
I think Adam makes some of that.
We can do it now. Like,
Yeah.
let's talk to him after the break. And we'll come back with toast. Break.
Wipe the dust off the canvas and wait till we break like it.
Oh, God. Do you guys need a second?
Whoa.
On his deep groove, and the nights new. What a feeling, what a nice mood. For bam, boom, rock, we're here to rock you. It's like, damn, what a
Welcome to the show, everybody.
Yay!
Fighting for the Fantastic Four, the segment 4. Thank you. We are still at Don Depot, still hanging with, of course, Dylan and Dr. Chauntelle Tibbals. Was there anything else that we didn't talk about that you wanted to talk about at all? Like,
We could talk forever.
Yeah, we could.
we can. Yeah, I really wish there was a podcast set up that would allow us to talk forever. Yeah, I'll take a shot, please. Yeah. Thanks, man. Because, we can talk about the Jared thing. We can talk about Cosby. Like, I'm really surprised that for some reason... Actually, I guess I wasn't surprised. When you heard from Chauntelle, Dylan, that the conversation was that his allegations were racist,
Yes.
I just thought, well, no, he got a good lawyer?
No,
Like,
it's his PR team.
It's PR team.
Yeah.
They're basically saying you can't judge Morgan Freeman as the wise old black man. I'm a wise old black man.
oh, my God. But
I didn't rape anybody.
Oh, my God.
No, really, that's like their story they're trying to paint.
Sure.
Yeah. It's pathetic.
Do you think in any boardroom ever that's been working on this case with Cosby, they looked at the 45 people it is, the 45 women or whatever it is?
Is
it more than that?
It's almost 50 now.
It's 50.
Because 5 in the past
let's say
2
50.
weeks. So.
Do you think any one of them over like takeout Chinese said 50 women out of the entire population of women is like less than 1%? Like, should
So
we
write this off,
Should
yeah.
we write this off?
Probably.
Probably. Like,
I'm
that
going to go
sucks balls.
with yes, that is happening.
Yes, less than 0.
Yes.
Or more than 0.
Don't even get me started.
Yes, then that's the problem. Is like that. There's so many things we can get outraged about, and then we shouldn't get outraged about, but we should get outraged.
But the thing that we could all take from it is that, as far as I understand the way the law works now and currently, there's nothing we can do about it.
There is
There's
only, I
n-
think, one case that is actually still actionable.
So one, but
But
one there's no discounting the one, but the thing that can be done about it is everything from here forward. So
hopefully.
because he cannot be the only person of his ilk. He cannot.
No,
he can be a combination of factors that is extremely unique, but he cannot be the only person. He is. Trust me, I've heard plenty of stories where people are like, "Hey, suck my dick, and I'll do this for you."
There's an entire brand of porn about that.
It's not porn. It's academia.
I'm just saying the idea of the casting couch is a thing.
It's a thing.
Does exist.
It's not a.
Or MT's life. No.
But what we can do is that moving forward, we can find a way that people don't have to sit on this for their whole lives.
Right.
Or
actually,
something.
And I think
something.
that's actually
something.
No, I think right now that's the key thing. I agree with you on that. Is that these women at the time when these things happened couldn't say anything.
No,
but
Jesus, no.
Now they can. In the first 5 or 6 that came out, people were like, "That's not true." 35, 40 later, people start going, "Oh, wait a minute. Okay, this is probably a thing," and you have to take the context that in the 70s and early 80s,
you have to think about what it means. What it means
now
to be not only a
up.
woman, but an older woman, because we are so disrespectful about age in our culture.
Well, you're not 40 yet, so you're still invited on the show.
Right. Now, when I'm 60,
that's that.
and to be on the cover of what was it, like the New York Times, like that whole thing with when everybody lined up on the like they have nothing to gain from that. There's nothing to gain from it other than
I thought it was really great that Obama was the last woman in that picture. That's a deep joke because it was an empty chair. Sorry, that was a stretch.
That was so 2012.
Sorry.
Fucking A.
So, like, you just brought up the fact, because you're looking at, especially when it comes to the culture in America, maybe it's just humans in general, we look at our elders at a certain way. Like, you wanted to bring up the Amy Schumer movie. But did you see the Amy Schumer skit about being fuckable?
Oh, it was awesome.
Oh, yes, I did.
Yeah,
the boy bands, right? The
No.
Amy Schumer is on a run. She's doing her jog through a park, and she looks up, and there's Tina Fey. There's
Julie Louis-Dreyfus.
I did not see this.
And they're just hanging out, and they're having a little party in the middle of the woods, like kind of like an Alice in Wonderland style party.
Yeah.
And they're drinking wine, and they're having foods, and they're celebrating that Julie Louis-Dreyfus is finally. She's not fuckable anymore.
Yeah, she's crossed the threshold.
She's finally, as a woman, not fuckable anymore.
She's joined the club of actresses who are not fuckable.
Yeah. And now, like, she doesn't have to worry about like her waist size or like.
I like how
calories,
it's Tina Fey and Amy Poehler who have this thing because I'm just like
it probably is.
Amy. No. Unfortunately, it's not Amy Poehler. It's someone very similar because like they always want those guys to be together because they're like super best friends.
But
Amy Schumer's skit of like having those guys on and saying like, now I can fart anytime I want
Welcome to the club.
Yeah. I can go do like Medicare ads or whatever. And it's a great like.
I hope that Christy Brinkley is there at the table.
No, because she can't act for one, and two is 60 and still looks fucking amazing.
So does Tina Fey, and she's not 60.
She's not 60.
It's true. Yeah.
Not yet. Anytime now. No. I mean, but that is
gotta be in the next 6 months.
I mean, 6 months.
Yeah, because 40 and 60 is really the same thing.
Exactly.
Right?
If you're a girl,
if you're a woman in Hollywood,
lady.
Yeah.
It's like being in a bar at 10 and looking up at 2. Yeah. It might as well
It's the
be.
same thing.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry we didn't get a chance to talk about Trainwreck because you were obviously very passionate about how much you hated that.
I hated that movie.
So I hope you remember how much you hate it in 17 episodes.
I will. We will
because
come
we do
back
have to wrap it up. But I want you to. This is obviously times for plugs. We're going to do.
Oh my gosh, I'm going to be in so many places
are?
and doing so many things. I am going to be in Florida in 2 weeks at
Your
Fair
dream.
Villas. Yes, my favorite place in the world, Florida. Love it. I'm going to be in Oklahoma City at the end of September at OU, at the Hustler Store, at Full Circle Books.
Yeah.
I'm going to be at the Armory in San Francisco at Kink doing a reading. It's going to be super exciting.
Yeah.
Doing a reading of your book?
Yes,
Exposure?
I am. I'm doing a reading of my book, Exposure, A Sociologist Explores Sex, Society, and Adult Entertainment.
Available on Amazon.com?
Yes, very fantastic. Leave a review if you feel so inclined. I will also be at the University of Southern California, where I was a visiting scholar for 2 years. I will be there now as a guest speaking. It's terribly exciting. I'll be there. I will be at Tulane University coming up. Also more Hustler stores. If you got a Hustler store in your town, I'm going to be there.
Nice. When's the New Orleans trip?
It is going to be in October.
October in New Orleans. That's going to be a party.
Exactly.
It could be.
It's New Orleans.
It's always a party.
Well, it's so weird too. Like, I'll do that off air.
Yeah.
I was surprised by how gentrified New Orleans got so fucking fast.
Oh,
and a lot of their educational system, especially in New Orleans, is privatized, and I don't know what that's like yet, and I want to dive into it, but I'm also worried that maybe I'm wrong about.
Different episode.
Yeah. But this is.
Anywhere else that's big?
There's a lot of stuff right there. That's the next 8
And-
weeks of my life.
Where can we find you online?
At ChauntelleTibbals.com, also on Twitter at Dr. Chauntelle, Instagram also Dr. Chauntelle.
And Facebook, Dr. Chauntelle.
Or apparently on HuffPo the past week.
Oh man, it was a big week. It was a big week between Vice, between CNBC, between Huffington Post, also Bustle and Mike.com. Interesting, all over the place.
We can also find you on Instagram at WeedTube
TV.
You know, for all of your WeedTube TV teens.
You know, a lot of people need WeedTube.
The irony is she steals the weed smoking videos for her tube site.
Oh, she's the fat Jew of the weed community. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Excellent.
Okay.
Always a great time for you to be on the show.
You're the best.
Thank you so much for
Yay.
tolerating us and having a good time with us. Actually, I have the shot.
Double down.
Double down. Dylan, help me think.
Yes, that many.
Dylan, thank you for helping me run the show.
Happy to be here.
If you like the show, you want to know about the show, you can go to drunkcastlive.com. That's drunkcastlive.com. Those are 3 words. There's no ass in there. It's drunkcast. We're on Twitter as Drunkcast Live. We're on Facebook at facebook.com/drunkcastlive. We are Drunkcast Live Pics or Drunkcast Pics on Instagram.
Drunkcast Live Pics.
Drunkcast Live Pics. Yeah, fine. I mean, no one follows us there, whatever.
Dr. Chauntelle follows us there.
Yeah,
I
she
do.
does, yeah.
Absolutely.
Because I need more WeedTube TV. So.
It's reciprocal.
Don't we all?
We're in the iTunes store. Like, honestly, if you got this far into it, like, go ahead and go back to the iTunes store and like rate us something because it makes us feel good, and it also gives us the chance to compete with the big guys. Like, you know, I played a video game once podcast, who is trending on Pocket Cast.
Makes $1 billion.
Broadcast.
Yeah, we're in the Zune
Lucky
store.
Vince, I love you.
Whatever the Zune store is. And, we're on Stitcher, too. I keep hearing about Stitcher.
Yeah.
And also, you can, if you feel like it, you can call us at 412-440-7468. That's 412-440-SHOT. Or you can text us, 412-440-7468. Anywhere you are in the United States, that goes to a Philadelphia number that sends to us, and we have a good time with it.
Drunk Texas.
Drunk text us. Yeah, like, honestly, if you like that number, if it feels nice to you, or if you're the kind of person who likes to have some drinks and wants to call anybody, and you don't want to call your mom, 412-440-7468. Put it in your phone as drunk dial.
Yeah.
You'll enjoy it. We will.
We will.
You can also questions at drunkcastlive.com. I actually do have an example of someone who used our product, and that's what it sounded like.
Dude, I need the credit I deserve to be fucking call me.
Another satisfied customer.
That could be you.
It could be you. And if you can
That
do
might
that,
have been me.
and the truth of the matter is, like, if you can be a little bit more articulate, or not.
You can be a guest in the show.
You can be a guest on the show, like anytime. We're here every Saturday, and we love you so much, and we'll see you next week.
Yay.
Bye.
To let you know what the deal is.
Lady Diaspora or Madam Diaspora. It's kind of a...
Yeah, Queen Elizabeth.